Today I will share with you some life-changing philosophy. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe. Also, comment where are you watching from and at what time you are watching. Have a nice sleep. Did you know that the choices you make today can add or subtract years from your life? This idea traces back to ancient Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to embrace life's chaos with wisdom and make choices that enhance our well-being. You might not think much of it when you decide to stay up late to finish just one more episode or scroll through your phone, but each night of insufficient sleep is quietly stealing a little more from you than just time. It's compromising your health, vitality, and even your ability to think clearly. In the realm of Stoicism, Seneca warned about overindulging in the unnecessary at the expense of our health and peace of mind, and sleep, undeniably, is one of the pillars of both. When we cut corners on sleep, we're not just facing a groggy morning, we're impacting our body's ability to regenerate. Sleep is that golden chain that ties our health and our bodies together. It's the prime time when our body engages in repairing cells, flushing out toxins from the brain and solidifying memories. Missing out on adequate sleep disrupts these processes, accelerating our aging and even impacting our metabolism and mood. Consider this. Ongoing research in neurology shows that during sleep, our brain essentially cleans house. It removes toxins that accumulate throughout the day, akin to how the ancient Stoics believed in cleansing the soul of unnecessary fears and desires to achieve clarity and peace. Without enough sleep, we're letting those toxins build up night after night, which can lead to long-term detriments in cognitive functions and overall health. Life often feels like a high-speed chase that we didn't sign up for. With stress as the relentless driver pushing us to our limit, it's easy to overlook how this invisible pressure can accumulate and sculpt our daily existence, not just emotionally but physically, accelerating our aging process. Stoic philosophy, particularly the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, reminds us that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. And when it comes to stress, our response could mean the difference between thriving and merely surviving. Stress, in its essence, is your body's call to arms, the fight-or-flight response that was crucial for our ancestors' survival. But in our modern world, this response can become chronic, triggered not by life-threatening dangers, but by daily demands and disruptions. When we allow this state to become our status quo, it starts chipping away at our biological health, shortening those crucial telomeres, protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes that keep our DNA stable, and thus directly impact our longevity. The Stoics taught that peace comes from within, suggesting that we can build resilience to stress through perspective and practice. They weren't just being poetic. Modern science backs this up, showing that meditation, controlled breathing, and mindfulness are effective tools for reducing stress. These practices help recalibrate our physiological responses and can significantly lower levels of cortisol, the stress hormone that, when left unchecked, wreaks havoc on our bodies, contributing to everything from inflammation to weakened immune systems. It's tempting to reach for that quick meal solution after a long, exhausting day. Fast food takeouts or those packaged meals that only need a few minutes in the microwave. We often eat not just with our stomachs but with our eyes and schedules, forgetting that every morsel we consume builds or degrades our health. Stoic philosophy, particularly its emphasis on moderation and mindfulness, offers profound guidance on this topic. Just as Seneca advised against filling one's life with unnecessary pursuits, we should avoid filling our bodies with low-nutrient, high-calorie foods that don't serve our health. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish your body and soul, echoing the Stoic principle of purposeful living. Consider the profound impact of food on your body's functions. Cells regenerate, energies are replenished, and mental acuity is maintained based on the quality of your nutrition. Poor eating habits can lead to a cascade of health issues, from increased inflammation and reduced ability to fight off diseases to more visible signs of aging and decreased energy levels. Eating well, in contrast, can support longer telomeres, which are essential components in the fight against the biological aging process. The Stoics understood the value of self-discipline and control, and applying these to our diet can transform our health. Incorporating a balance of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins isn't just about adhering to dietary guidelines. It's about respecting your body's inherent worth and potential. This approach aligns with the Stoic ideal of aligning actions with nature and reason. By choosing meals that are as close to their natural state as possible, we honor our body's natural design, which thrives on whole, unprocessed foods. You might find it surprising to hear that your couch, often a haven of comfort after a long day, could be one of your biggest adversaries in maintaining a healthy lifestyle. It's so easy to collapse into its welcoming embrace and stay there, binging the latest series or scrolling endlessly through our phones. But this very comfort can lead to a sedentary lifestyle, which is silently but steadily taking a toll on our health. The Stoics often emphasized the importance of physical activity as part of a balanced life. They understood that a sound mind resides in a sound body, and that neglecting physical health could hinder one's ability to practice virtues like discipline and self-control. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic himself and a Roman emperor, despite his extensive duties, made it a point to incorporate physical exercise into his daily routine, understanding its critical role in maintaining not only physical but also mental strength. In today's world, a sedentary lifestyle has become more prevalent due to technological advances that encourage us to stay stationary. What we often don't realize is that by not moving, we're robbing our body of its basic need for physical exertion, which can result in a variety of health issues, from cardiovascular diseases to a decline in mental health. Physical inactivity slows down our metabolism, reduces the effectiveness of blood circulation, and can lead to muscle and joint issues, making us age faster, physically and mentally. Integrating movement into our daily routine is not just about avoiding health problems, it's about enhancing our quality of life. The Stoics would advise us to challenge our body's limits and capabilities as a form of self-improvement, and to live in accordance with nature, which inherently involves movement. You don't need to become a marathon runner overnight or hit the gym for hours every day. Simple, consistent activities like taking a walk during lunch breaks, using stairs instead of elevators, standing up and stretching every hour during long periods of sitting, or engaging in hobbies that require physical movement can make a profound difference. Think about the last time you really quenched your thirst with a refreshing glass of water. It feels revitalizing, doesn't it? Often, we underestimate the power of staying hydrated, ignoring our body's cries for water until we feel the undeniable signs of thirst. Yet, maintaining adequate hydration is not just about quelling thirst. It's a fundamental aspect of health that too many of us overlook, much to our detriment. Drawing from Stoic philosophy, which teaches the importance of attending to our natural needs with simplicity and purpose, staying hydrated aligns perfectly with living a life in harmony with nature. Seneca, one of the most notable Stoics, emphasized the need for balance and argued against indulgence, excess, or deficiency, including in our diet and basic care of our bodies. Water, the most natural beverage, is crucial for maintaining this balance, supporting every cellular process in our body. Dehydration is a subtle thief. It slowly undermines our health, impacting everything from cognitive function and energy levels to skin health and digestion. Each cell in our body requires water to function optimally. Without adequate water, our cells start to shrivel, hampering their ability to generate energy and leading to premature aging and decreased bodily function. The skin, which is our largest organ, visibly reflects our hydration levels. Adequate water intake helps maintain its elasticity and vibrancy. Warding off signs of aging, like wrinkles and dryness, a golden tan might be seen as a hallmark of health and vitality, symbolizing leisurely days spent outdoors or on vacation. However, it's worth considering the Stoic perspective that appearances can be deceptive, and what seems beneficial on the surface may carry hidden risks. The sun, as life-giving and essential as it is, can be a double-edged sword when it comes to our health, particularly when we indulge in it without moderation or protection. The Stoics, always advocates for living in harmony with nature, would surely have appreciated the sun's vital role. Yet they would also have been the first to remind us of the importance of self-control and rational behavior. Just as they would counsel moderation in all things, they would likely advise us to enjoy the sun's embrace wisely. Excessive sun exposure can lead to premature aging of the skin, not to mention more serious health risks like skin cancer. The UV rays that make those beach days so memorable are the same ones that can cause damage to the DNA in our skin cells, leading to accelerated skin aging and increased health risks. When we expose ourselves to the sun without adequate protection, we're not just risking a painful sunburn. UV radiation penetrates deep into the skin and disrupts the normal process of skin cell growth. Over time, this leads to changes in skin texture, loss of elasticity, and the formation of wrinkles and sunspots. It's almost paradoxical how a habit such as smoking, often started under the guise of enhancing social interactions or alleviating stress, can so drastically reduce both the quality and duration of one's life. The momentary pleasure of a cigarette can have lasting negative impacts, something that, from a Stoic perspective, would be seen as a clear divergence from living a life based on rational choices and good health. The Stoics taught us the importance of self-mastery and control over one's impulses and desires. Smoking, with its addictive nature and harmful consequences, is a prime example of what happens when short-term desires override long-term well-being. Every puff of a cigarette introduces thousands of chemicals into the body, including nicotine, which is highly addictive and toxic. It's not just the lungs that are affected. Smoking impacts nearly every organ in the body, contributing to a variety of diseases and chronically undermining one's health. From a Stoic standpoint, engaging in an activity that knowingly damages one's body contradicts the principle of living according to nature. The body's nature is to heal and maintain itself, but smoking impedes this natural ability, causing harm that is entirely preventable. The damage begins with diminished lung capacity and can extend to heart disease, stroke, and multiple types of cancer, not to mention the cosmetic effects such as premature aging of the skin and staining of teeth. Quitting smoking is not just about avoiding negative outcomes. It's a profound way to practice Stoic virtues like discipline and foresight, actively choosing a healthier path not only for yourself but also setting an example for those around you. While a glass of wine or a pint of beer might be how many of us choose to unwind after a long day, there's a fine line between moderate enjoyment and excess that can easily be crossed. This is particularly poignant when considering the Stoic emphasis on moderation and self-control, virtues that guide us to make decisions that align with our long-term well-being rather than immediate gratification. The Stoics were advocates for living a life that was free from the control of desires and passions, and this certainly extends to how we might choose to engage with alcohol. Excessive drinking not only clouds judgment in the moment, but also has far-reaching effects on our health. Alcohol is a hepatotoxin, which means it specifically damages the liver, an organ essential to detoxifying our body. Over time, this can lead to liver diseases such as cirrhosis, which dramatically shortens a person's life expectancy and quality. Moreover, alcohol affects nearly every system in the body. It can disrupt sleep patterns, leading to less restorative sleep, which in turn affects cognitive functions and overall physical health. It can also lead to an increase in blood pressure and contribute to the development of heart disease. On a cellular level, excessive alcohol consumption accelerates aging by impacting the length of telomeres, protective caps on our chromosomes that are linked to our lifespan. Each binge drinking session can actually shorten these caps, effectively speeding up the aging process. From a Stoic perspective, indulging in too much alcohol might be seen as surrendering to external pleasures that compromise our inner equilibrium and health. The very opposites of Stoic ideals. Stoicism teaches us to find joy and contentment in our internal states and rational thinking, not from external substances. It's often easy to overlook how integral social connections are to our well-being, especially in a world that increasingly values independence and self-sufficiency. Yet, in the hustle of striving to be self-reliant, we might inadvertently isolate ourselves, missing out on the profound benefits that come from regular social interactions. This concept aligns closely with Stoic principles, which, while often misinterpreted as promoting a solitary life, actually encourage forming meaningful relationships to enhance personal growth and emotional resilience. The Stoics believed in the power of community and the importance of supporting others as a way of cultivating virtue. Seneca, for example, wrote extensively about the benefits of friendship and social obligations, suggesting that true support between friends strengthens one's character and fortifies one against life's adversities. In contrast, isolation can lead to loneliness, which has been shown in numerous studies to increase the risk of mortality as much as smoking or obesity. It's not just about feeling alone, it's about the tangible impact that lack of social interaction can have on our physical and mental health. Socializing helps to ward off the cognitive decline associated with aging, boosts mood through the release of neurotransmitters like serotonin, and strengthens our immune system. It's as if our bodies are designed to interact, thriving on the shared experiences that help regulate our emotions and improve our psychological resilience. From a Stoic viewpoint, neglecting this aspect of our nature might be seen as ignoring the very essence of what it means to live a good life. When we drift through days, weeks, and even years without a clear direction or purpose, it can often feel like we're merely existing rather than truly living. This lack of purpose isn't just a philosophical dilemma. It affects our everyday happiness and overall well-being. The Stoics, wise as they were, believed fervently in living with intent and purpose. They saw this as essential not only to personal fulfillment, but also to contributing effectively to society. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about the importance of acting with a clear and honorable purpose, emphasizing that the quality of one's life improves dramatically when one's actions are aligned with well-considered goals and principles. Living without a clear purpose can lead to a form of existential stagnation, where time feels like it's slipping by unproductively. This can sap one's enthusiasm for life, leading to feelings of listlessness and dissatisfaction. The Stoics would argue that without a guiding purpose, it's easy to fall prey to petty annoyances and distractions that can dominate our thoughts and emotions. Purpose acts like a compass, guiding us through life's challenges with focus and resilience. It gives us a reason to rise each morning and face the day with vigor and determination. Having a sense of purpose is also linked to numerous health benefits, including better mental health, lower levels of stress, and even a longer lifespan. It contributes to our ability to adapt to change and overcome adversity. Just as a ship without a rudder is left to the mercy of the seas, a life without purpose is vulnerable to the whims of fortune. The Stoics understood this well and recommended that we define our values and align our actions accordingly. Many of us have a tendency to put off medical checkups, especially when we're feeling well. It's easy to brush these appointments aside, viewing them as unnecessary time away from our daily tasks or commitments. However, much like the Stoics advocated for a rational and proactive approach to life's challenges, prioritizing preventive healthcare can be seen as an exercise in wisdom and self-respect. Just as a Stoic would inspect their thoughts and behaviors regularly to align with their virtues, we too should inspect our physical health regularly to prevent potential issues from escalating. The Stoic philosophy teaches the importance of maintaining control over the things we can influence, and our health certainly falls within that realm. Regular medical checkups serve as a preventive measure, a way to catch potential health issues before they develop into serious problems. It's about respecting our body's needs and responding to them thoughtfully. This approach not only helps in maintaining our health, but also exemplifies the Stoic ideal of not yielding to negligence or ignorance. Skipping these checkups can often lead to a false sense of security. Without them, we might not be aware of the changes occurring in our bodies. Changes that, if caught early, could be addressed more easily and with better outcomes. Conditions like hypertension, diabetes, and many cancers can develop quietly, without obvious symptoms. By the time symptoms do appear, these conditions can be significantly more difficult to manage. In this digital age, it's all too easy to find ourselves glued to screens, whether it's for work or leisure. While technology certainly brings countless benefits, including connecting us with others and providing vast resources for learning, there's a downside that we often overlook. Spending too much time in front of screens can subtly erode our health and well-being, impacting everything from our sleep patterns to our mental clarity. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who valued discipline and moderation, would likely caution us against allowing any one tool, such as our digital devices, to dominate our lives. They taught the importance of maintaining a balanced life, one that includes physical activity, social interactions, and time for reflection, all of which can be compromised by excessive screen time. Just as they would advise against overindulgence in any pleasure, they would recommend we use technology wisely, ensuring it serves us without becoming our master. When we spend excessive time staring at screens, we often sacrifice physical health, mental space, and valuable time that could be spent engaging with the real world. This can lead to a host of issues, such as digital eye strain, poor posture, and disrupted sleep, as the blue light emitted by screens can interfere with our natural sleep cycles. More subtly, heavy screen use can also lead to a feeling of disconnection from our immediate environment and the people around us, contributing to feelings of isolation or loneliness. It might come as a surprise to think of laughter and fun as essential elements of a well-rounded, healthy life, especially from a philosophical standpoint like Stoicism, which is often misunderstood as austere or somber. However, the Stoics, including the likes of Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, emphasized the importance of joy and the role of positive emotions in fostering resilience against life's hardships. They recognized that laughter is not frivolous. It strengthens the spirit and fortifies us against the trials of life. In our modern lives, the hustle of daily responsibilities can sometimes make us forget the value of taking a moment to just laugh and enjoy simple pleasures. Laughter has been shown to have numerous health benefits. It can boost the immune system, decrease stress hormones, and increase endorphins, those chemicals in the brain that are known for their feel-good factor. Moreover, laughter enhances our intake of oxygen-rich air, stimulates the heart, lungs, and muscles, and increases the endorphins released by our brain, promoting an overall sense of well-being. From a Stoic viewpoint, neglecting the lighter side of life could be seen as neglecting a part of our human nature that is essential for our overall harmony and balance. Stoics believed in embracing all facets of human experience with wisdom and clarity, including the joyful ones. They would advocate for a life that does not shun laughter but welcomes it as a necessary ingredient for a soul well-equipped to handle life's vicissitudes. Betrayal doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from those you trust most. The friend who suddenly turns cold, the partner who walks away without explanation, the colleague who stabs you in the back when you least expect it, and the worst part, you never saw it coming. Today we're diving deep into the silent but sharp world of betrayal to uncover why those closest to us can sometimes become the sources of our greatest disappointments. But why does this happen? How can someone switch from friend to foe overnight? Is there a way to spot the signs before the damage is done? Drawing on ancient Stoic wisdom and modern psychology, we'll explore the hidden mechanisms of betrayal and how you can guard yourself against it without losing faith in the power of human connection. This is more than just a discussion. It's a journey into understanding one of the most painful aspects of our social life, and I promise by the end of this video you'll look at your relationships through a new, more empowered lens. Let's get started. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal? It's a pain that seems to come from nowhere, yet it cuts deeper than many others. Imagine a friend who has been by your side for years suddenly stops calling without any apparent reason. Or consider a partner who one day turns cold and walks away, leaving only silence and confusion in their wake. These scenarios involve the people we've trusted the most, making the betrayal not just a surprise, but a deep emotional blow. Betrayal is often portrayed as a dramatic turn of events in stories and films, but in real life, it can be much quieter, yet just as devastating. It is not the enemies who pose the greatest threat in this regard, but those closest to us. As Carl Jung, a pioneer in psychology, insightfully observed, the larger the front, the larger the bat. This means that our deepest hurts often come from where we least expect, behind the masks of those we believe we know best. This reality echoes the Stoic understanding of life's unpredictability and the importance of internal fortitude. Stoics like Seneca taught that while we cannot control the actions of others, we can control our reactions and thus remain undisturbed by external misfortune. In the context of betrayal, this philosophy helps us not only anticipate the potential for such acts, but also maintain our composure when they occur. Betrayal, in many ways, tests our ability to see and understand human nature clearly. It forces us to question our judgments about others and to reflect on the nature of our relationships. Are we truly seeing others as they are, or as we wish them to be? This questioning is not an invitation to cynicism, but a call to realism, a core tenet of both Western philosophy and Stoic thought. By understanding the psychological underpinnings of betrayal, as discussed by thinkers like Jung, we can better prepare ourselves for the complexities of human relationships. Jung's concept of the shadow, the darker, unacknowledged parts of our personality, suggests that often those who betray us are acting out of unresolved inner conflicts. They may not even fully understand their motives, driven by parts of themselves that even they have not fully come to terms with. As we navigate our relationships, it is wise to remain both vigilant and compassionate, understanding that each person we meet carries an inner world as complex and potentially troubled as our own. This perspective doesn't just protect us from hurt, it enriches our understanding of human behavior, grounding us in a deeper sense of empathy and preparedness. As we explore further, let's delve into how we can detect the signs of betrayal and shield ourselves, not with suspicion, but with wisdom and insight. When we think about why people betray others, it's tempting to view their actions as purely malicious or self-serving. However, if we peel back the layers, we often find a tangle of psychological complexities and unresolved internal conflicts at the heart of their actions. Carl Jung introduced us to the concept of the shadow self, a part of our psyche where we stash away those traits and impulses we deem unacceptable or unpleasant. These hidden aspects don't just vanish. They simmer beneath the surface, influencing behavior in ways the individual may not even fully understand. This inner conflict is not far from the Stoic understanding of the inner turmoil that results from failing to live in accordance with reason and nature. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often spoke of the inner citadel, a fortress of virtue and reason within each person. When individuals fail to reconcile their internal contradictions and instead allow their shadow selves to steer the ship, the results can be destructive, not just to others, but to their own well-being. Imagine a friend who has always been supportive suddenly starts acting out of envy or insecurity. Although these traits may seem out of character, perhaps this friend sees in you the achievements or qualities they secretly desire but feel incapable of realizing. Their betrayal, then, might not be a direct assault on you, but a misguided expression of their own unmet aspirations and frustrations. Jung might say that they are projecting their shadow onto you because it's easier to confront these qualities in someone else than in themselves. From a Stoic viewpoint, this scenario presents an opportunity for us not only to guard ourselves against the pain of betrayal, but also to cultivate understanding and compassion. The Stoics teach us to look within and prepare our own souls for whatever life throws our way, including the often painful missteps of our closest allies. By fostering a strong inner life, we become less vulnerable to the actions of others, not because we erect walls, but because we understand the frailties that lead people to make such choices. By integrating Jung's psychological insights with Stoic wisdom, we gain a more nuanced appreciation for the complexities of human behavior. This blend of understanding helps us navigate our relationships more effectively, recognizing the signs of internal conflict and responding to them not with bitterness, but with empathy and strength. Betrayal often unfolds in a series of subtle shifts and changes, not as a sudden break. It's like watching the slow-motion bloom of a storm on the horizon. barely noticeable at first, but unmistakably there upon closer observation. Recognizing these signs is critical, yet it requires a keen sense of awareness, a trait deeply valued in both psychology and Stoic philosophy. Understanding the process of betrayal involves observing behaviors that might initially seem innocuous, but gradually form a pattern that indicates deeper issues. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self is particularly useful here. He proposed that aspects of ourselves that we deny or suppress do not simply disappear. They find other ways to express themselves, often in destructive ways. When someone begins to feel threatened by their own repressed desires or unresolved issues, their behavior towards others may change, subtle at first, then increasingly overt. Stoicism, with its focus on self-control and awareness, teaches us to maintain a vigilant watch over not only our emotions, but those of others as well. For example, a friend might start with small, seemingly harmless jabs or jokes at your expense, which could escalate over time if driven by jealousy or insecurity. Seneca advised us to be as observant of the temperament and actions of our associates as we are of their character. He suggested that such vigilance helps us to discern genuine friends from those who may harbor hidden resentment or ill will. These early warning signs can be varied and complex. Perhaps someone who once shared freely suddenly becomes secretive or withdrawn. Or maybe you notice a change in their tone when they speak to you. Less warmth, more formality, as if they're slowly building a wall between you. These behavioral cues are crucial. They often precede more overt acts of betrayal and are the psyche's way of signaling unresolved inner conflicts. From a Stoic perspective, recognizing these signs isn't about becoming paranoid or overly defensive. Rather, it's about preparing ourselves to respond with equanimity and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of being attuned to the nature of our associates, understanding that each person acts according to their character. By anticipating potential betrayals before they manifest, we can protect ourselves from their worst impacts without harboring anger or resentment. The process of detecting betrayal is fundamentally about enhancing our understanding of human nature and our capacity for insight. It's about developing an empathetic yet cautious approach to relationships, where we balance trust with the wisdom of experience. As we delve deeper into the practical ways to mitigate and handle betrayal, remember that our goal is not to build barriers against others, but to fortify our internal resilience, allowing us to face whatever challenges may come with strength and dignity. It's natural to wonder why acts of betrayal seem to cut deeper than other kinds of injuries or disappointments we face in life. The sting of betrayal is profoundly painful because it strikes at the very foundation of our trust and expectations in relationships. These are not just any relationships, but ones where we've invested significant emotional energy, making the impact of betrayal deeply personal and often devastating. This emotional investment is key to understanding why betrayal hurts so much. When we connect with someone, whether it's a friend, a partner, or a colleague, we're not just spending time with them, we're also sharing parts of ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our hopes. Carl Jung might say that in doing so, we project parts of our own psyche onto these relationships, seeing in them not just another person, but a reflection of ourselves and our ideals. When these relationships then turn sour, it feels like a part of ourselves has been rejected or attacked. Stoicism offers a perspective on emotional investment that can be quite enlightening. Here, Stoics such as Epictetus taught that while it's important to form relationships and connect with others, we must always remember that our emotional well-being should not depend entirely on others. They emphasize the concept of some things being within our control and others not. And clearly, the actions and feelings of others fall into the latter category. By mentally preparing ourselves for the possibility that even the most trusted individuals might one day betray us, we can protect our inner peace. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was, and where-eyed, however, Recognizing the Stoic advice doesn't mean we become emotionally distant or cynical. Rather, it's about cultivating a kind of emotional resilience that allows us to care deeply for others while still maintaining a part of ourselves that is anchored firmly within our own rational and moral framework. This balance is what enables us to experience deep connections without being undone by them if they turn negative. Understanding the role of emotional investment in our reactions to betrayal also helps us navigate these painful experiences with more grace and wisdom. It reminds us that our pain is valid and reflects our capacity for deep connection, not a personal weakness. In this way, we can begin to heal by reassessing our emotional boundaries and expectations, possibly even emerging from the experience with a stronger sense of self and a clearer understanding of what we truly value in our relationship. As we move forward, we'll explore practical steps to not only foresee potential betrayals, but also to handle them when they occur, using both psychological insights and Stoic principles to guide us toward healthier, more resilient ways of relating to others. This journey is not just about avoiding pain, but about growing from our experiences, transforming potential bitterness into a deeper wisdom about human nature and our own emotional landscapes. Navigating the turbulent waters of human relationships requires a vigilant eye and a prepared heart. Knowing how to foresee and mitigate betrayal isn't just about safeguarding ourselves from harm. It's about cultivating a deeper understanding and resilience that enriches our interactions with others while protecting our inner peace. Let's explore some practical steps to recognize early signs of betrayal and effectively shield ourselves from its more damaging effects. First and foremost, awareness is crucial. This means being attentive to subtle changes in people's behaviors and attitudes toward us. Carl Jung's insights into the shadow self are invaluable here. They teach us that what people do not consciously address within themselves often manifests in their actions. Sometimes as betrayal. For example, if someone typically shares openly but starts becoming secretive or withdrawn, this could be a sign of internal conflict or a change in their feelings toward you. From a Stoic perspective, Marcus Aurelius advised vigilance in our social interactions, suggesting that we should not only listen to what people say, but also watch what they do. Stoicism teaches the importance of discerning the nature of our associations and adjusting our expectations accordingly. This means that if we notice inconsistencies between someone's words and actions, or a pattern of behavior that suggests hidden motives, it might be time to reassess the trust we place in them. Another step involves setting and maintaining boundaries. This is where Stoic principles can be particularly empowering. Stoics like Epictetus emphasize the importance of focusing on what we can control, which includes our boundaries. By clearly defining what is acceptable and what is not in our interactions, we make it harder for others to disrupt our peace of mind. Boundaries also serve as a test. They can provoke reactions that reveal someone's true intentions, allowing us to see who respects our limits and who chafes against them. Communication is also key. Often, potential betrayals can be headed off through open and honest dialogue. If you sense that something is amiss, addressing it directly can not only clarify misunderstandings, but also signal to others that you are attentive and aware of the dynamics at play. This doesn't mean confronting every odd behavior, but rather choosing your battles wisely and speaking up when something truly significant appears to be brewing. Lastly, cultivating a network of support and fostering a variety of relationships can provide a safety net. Diversifying our emotional investments can help mitigate the impact of any single relationship going awry. The Stoics encourage us to cherish and nurture relationships, but also to maintain a part of ourselves that remains steadfast and undisturbed by external changes. This balance allows us to enjoy deep connections without being overly reliant on them for our happiness and self-worth. By integrating these practices into our lives, we not only better protect ourselves from betrayal, but also deepen our engagement with those around us in a more mindful and meaningful way. It's about being proactive, not reactive, shaping our relational world with intentionality and insight. As we continue to grow and learn, we find that our capacity to handle life's challenges, including betrayal, becomes one of our greatest strengths. As we wrap up our exploration of betrayal and the shadows it casts, it's important to remember that understanding the why and how of betrayal doesn't just help us avoid future pain, it empowers us. This empowerment comes from a deeper comprehension of human nature and our own strengths, allowing us to navigate our relationships with greater wisdom and resilience. Empowerment through understanding means recognizing that betrayal, as painful as it is, offers valuable lessons about trust, human behavior, and our own emotional responses. It prompts a reflection on our values and expectations, and in the process, sharpens our judgment. When we look at betrayal through the lens of psychology, as Carl Jung might encourage us, we see it not just as a personal attack, but as a complex interplay of individual psychologies clashing or failing to align. This perspective shifts our reaction from one of mere hurt or resentment to one of inquiry and growth. Incorporating Stoic principles further enhances this empowerment. Stoicism teaches us that our real power lies in our response to adversity. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of facing challenges with a calm and composed mind, using them as opportunities to practice virtue and strengthen character. When we apply this to betrayal, we learn not to be swayed by external events, but to find a stable grounding within ourselves. By doing so, we maintain our dignity and peace of mind regardless of others' actions. Moreover, this understanding encourages us not to be embittered by our experiences, but instead to use them as catalysts for personal development. Each incident of betrayal, each breaking of trust, can be a stepping stone to a more enlightened self, one who is more discerning, less reactive, and more at peace with the complexity of human relationships. This does not mean becoming guarded or cynical, but rather developing a mature awareness of the potential for both good and ill in all relationships. Empowerment also means embracing a proactive stance in life, instead of being a passive recipient of others' actions. Understanding betrayal arms us with the knowledge and tools to actively shape our social world. It teaches us to set boundaries, communicate openly, and cultivate a diverse network of relationships, all of which enhance our emotional and social resilience. T was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body.